Man, it is such an awesome pleasure to have you on. You know, you've been a hero to me my whole damn life, and
Thank you, sir.
you got some news to share. I mean, we're a few days away now from the final match and the Ric Flair roast, and we have a million questions about it. But first, lay out. I want to know first of all, why in the hell are you doing this? And second, how did it come together?
Well, do you know who Conrad Thompson is?
Yep.
Yeah, my son-in-law, but he's I call him the king of the podcast world. I mean, he's partnered up with, everybody. Now he's partnered up with Thuzio and Triller and everybody else. But it all started from our relationship together, and then he married my daughter. We've become very close friends, so every year he has an event. I think it's his third or fourth year called StarCast. Started out in Vegas. And I was going to do this, not wrestle, but just do the roast in Vegas. And I had that heart issue where I had to have the 2018, I had to have 4 heart operations in 7 days. 4 heart operations in 7 weeks, sorry. And they finally got it right. It was just a pacemaker, nothing, no cutting or anything, just going in and playing around. But 4 different doctors, so they all had different opinions. But anyway, he called me and said, StarCast this year, we're going to have it in Nashville. I said, what do you think about wrestling one more time? And I had just seen Austin and Vince wrestle at WrestleMania. And I thought, anytime I see something like that, it makes me want to get back in there. So I called the heart doctor I like the best, and he said, I think there's enough scar tissue built around the thing by now, you could do anything you want to do. So I went over there and just took a slam first, then a suplex, then I started wrestling and running, and it just worked out. I mean, I'm not going to be nearly as good as I was, but I'll be better than I was when I wrestled Sting my last match. Be fun.
I mean, it's funny, man.
I'm goal oriented. I think almost every man. The one thing you don't lose in life if you ever wanted to be something is a goal. And if I pull this off, I mean, I'm really rolling the dice because if I pull it off, I'll be bigger than ever. But if I fail, so it's a must happen. I got to make it happen, make it work. I'll have all the tools. I'll have all the tools of my trade in me, Marty.
It's all about that green big time.
When all else fails, man, I'll have it taped to my finger.
I love it. I've been reading a little bit about your build-up and the workouts you're doing and the training you're doing to make sure you're ready, and you got a little bit of a foot issue. What's it been like to get up and get after it again every single day? Because it's been years.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to do that. I train with John Cena's trainer up on Land O'Lakes, and I drive over to St. Pete, which is 50 miles away, to get in the ring. So I go up to Rob at least 4 times a week, and then I try to get in the ring twice a week. I won't get in the ring again now until I get to Nashville. I mean, and we start walking through things. But yeah, it's just for me, it's more self-confidence. I can do it. When I let him slam me off the top rope the other day, I said, either it's going to work or it's not going to work, right? The worst that can happen is the thing comes unplugged and they got to plug it back in. So it's not like I'm...
You're talking about your heart.
Yeah.
I'm talking about my pacemaker.
Yeah.
Mine does not have a defibrillator, which is different. But, it's in there. I mean, I've done all the bumps, so... a lot more than people have seen.
You seem a little bit concerned, Nate. Are you sure you're okay with this?
I'm not concerned about my health at all.
Okay, good.
No. It's for here. It's right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. It's all here right now. Not about my health. I've been dead, Marty. I've been dead for 14 days.
I remember.
I've been in an airplane crash. There's nothing. Not worried about that at all. I was just worried about, being, I hope to be like, maybe 70% of what I was. If I'm 70% of what I was, that'll be pretty good.
Since you fought,
and I've got real good opponents to work with too. which makes a big difference.
How tempted have you been since the last time you wrestled between now and 2011 to try this again?
Oh, I've been offered $50,000 probably 10 times. I just didn't want to do it because I didn't want to get in the shape it takes. This has been 3 months, and I mean I've had to take some as long as a week break once in a while because of work, go traveling and stuff. But I'm there now. I mean, this is a home stretch. I took canceled some stuff this week, and I'll train hard today, train hard tomorrow, train hard on Wednesday, and then take off for Nashville Wednesday night, and then meet the troops on Thursday afternoon, get ready for the roast, which should be more concerned about the roast.
I would be too, boss.
Then I am the match. Then we have the Four Horsemen reunion, which will be huge, and then photo ops and a Q&A. All this will be on TV. And then, of course, the matches start at 6:30 on, and we only got 300 tickets left out of 9,000. So it's looking good.
One of the first of all, when I met Rick, I was blown away how I met him. I met him because Travis, plug your ears. I met him because I went to Rome, Italy with the University of Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah.
And Nate's great friend, Jim Harbaugh. And as a result, I was doing all this reporting and whatnot, and I randomly get this text from this number I don't know, and it's the freaking Nature Boy Ric Flair. And after I picked my jaw up off the ground, we built this amazing relationship. So when they did the 30 for 30, which was brilliant, on Nature's life, I got the opportunity to be a part of the 30 for 30. And I had one line in the whole damn movie.
Yeah.
And that line was, where I come from, we didn't feel Hulk Hogan. We felt Ric Flair. Nate, I can't go anywhere. Like, that's what people remember about me. I don't care what happens the rest of my career. That's what people, it's going to be on my tombstone or something. But here's the question. I say all
I
that to
appreciate
ask
it.
you this.
I don't know how Hulk felt about it.
There are 18-year-olds playing college football who do woo. Yeah. There are, you are iconic through generations. What does it tell you about your influence that you started in 1970-ish, and even today, 50 years later, you are still that relevant?
I'm so thankful, Marty. I think about that, but only because I get reminded when I get a text from a guy like you. I go, guys, Marty Smith calling me. I mean, everybody knows Marty Smith too. If they don't know Marty Smith, they don't know ESPN. I mean, I actually think you should be doing one of the shows, like Get Up or First Take, or I think you're that good. But because you're this just eloquent epitome of dressed clothes, and when you interview people, like at events, I can't remember who I saw you at the Derby with, but it just comes across. It's so classy. And I'm all about class. I like people that dress up. I appreciate that, and especially when they're out, and they're representing their brand. God only knows I spent more money on clothes than I should have, but I think it paid off for me in terms of me kind of setting a standard, and I think I've sold a few Rolex watches along the way.
Yes, sir.
I've never got a deal from them, but
what are we doing?
Every time I'm watching,
what's Rolex doing? They're here sponsoring golf. They could be on Ric Flair.
The Rolex dial, I think they'd have me standing next to it. So I'm just lucky. I mean, all these guys like Snoop Dogg and Offset and Ricky Ross. I was at a thing in Miami, and the promoter goes, "You know Rick Ross?" I said, "Do I know Rick Ross? Are you kidding?" "Yeah, I know Rick Ross. He wrote 18 songs about me." So I've just been lucky along the way. I appreciate the respect. Trust me, I don't take it for granted.
Where did woo come from? Where did it come
Jerry
from?
Lee Lewis. Jerry Lee Lewis. Reckon it's a race of Great Balls of Fire. Woo, I was driving somewhere on those 3,000-mile-a-week trips back in the 70s, and all we did was drink beer and listen to country music. I'd never even listened to country music coming from Minneapolis.
Sounds like my heaven.
That's what Marty does every day too.
Yeah, until I got down south, I'd never listened to country music. I mean, you're from Minnesota and you're moving to Charlotte. When I got there, it was just brown bag. I mean, it was all it was, and you know it, Marty. Charlotte was just strip clubs, massage parlors. There was no banks. There was nothing going on there. Brown bag and motorcycle gangs. I swear to God, 1974 was not what.
And then the Nature Boys showed up.
Huh?
I said, yeah, and then the Nature Boys
Yeah,
showed up.
It was me and Richard Petty, wrestling and racing. I still keep in touch with Richard. So I just saw Kyle. That's what it was. We just planned. We kind of grew. I grew with the city, you know. So I just love Charlotte. I love being there. The only reason I moved away was that when my son passed away. The Charlotte Observer was exhausting me, man. I mean, exhausting. They grab at everything. And they wanted me to do an article for them about this. And I said, guys, are you kidding me? If you'll print every word I'll say, we can't guarantee that. I said, well, we're not doing the article. But life is good, man. I'm in Tampa now. I got a new boat, and I love it here. Wendy just left. She just bought a new place at the Rosemary Beach. So she was here yesterday. She's on her way now. She loves that. You know that area up there by 30A?
38,
Yep.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Speaking of country music, that's pretty much Nashville South right
yeah,
there.
boy, it is.
Every artist in the world
we
has a
live right
place
next door
there.
to Luke Brantley. I mean, everybody's up there. God, who's the guy just bought a house there? Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson just bought a home there.
Awesome.
You know,
every college football coach.
a little bigger than ours. Paris Hilton lives there. I mean, everybody.
Nate, I'd like to try to settle this once and for all, but you are the ultimate sports fan.
Mm-hmm.
You love every team that exists.
I
has
love
been the-
relationships on a team. I get accused of being a jumper like that, but if I don't know the coach, it's like I've been on the sidelines with Herschel Walker and everybody else at Georgia, and Kirby Smart walked right by me 3 times. Screw him. I'm glad he got the 112 million. I had who was the coach at A&M?
Jimbo.
Huh? No,
Jimbo
before
Fisher.
Jimbo.
Someone.
Yeah, Pat Summerall, right? Yeah, he walked.
Kevin
I'm
Summerall,
on
yeah.
the sidelines of the Gamecocks, and he walks across the field to meet me. What does that say? And now I just got invited by Mike Vrabel, who I've never met, to talk to the Titans Thursday morning. So
Thursday morning. This coming Thursday morning.
Yeah. In
All right, what's the
Nashville.
message to the Tennessee Titans, Nate? What do we say?
Well, I liked him a lot. I really do. I really love that Derrick Henry, man. That kid is too much. I mean, I never thought he'd be that good in college and pro, but boy, coming off that injury, my message to anybody is that if you put the time and the effort and the work into it, and you're mentally right, not sidelined by distractions at home or whatever else, which we all go through, regardless of whether we think we do or not, we all do. If you're focused and you guys and stay healthy, which is the most important thing in sports, they have a good chance. I think Tannehill came around. They have a hell of a team. Is Julio still with them? He's not. Oh no! They cut Julio.
He just can't stay healthy.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, he made his money though, thank God. Like my friend Todd Gurley got his pay. You know, because these guys, man. I mean, you watch it, and I know our sport is physical, and then you start watching that hockey, which is you watch playoff hockey at all, guys. I mean,
Oh yeah.
those guys they're skating around at 40 miles an hour, 3% body fat, and they just kill themselves. So it's much like ours, and we don't get nearly the credit for the damage that we do to our bodies. But I've got all the respect in the world, and I hope the Titans, because I don't have a favorite anymore. Of course, it's easy to say I like the Buccaneers because I know Rob and I've met Tom once, but I like all the teams. And now the Coach Bravo is kind of, invited me to be part of they're all coming to the match and everything and invited me to be part of it. I'll be pulling for the Titans. What the hell?
You were talking about Vince earlier. We all saw he just chose to step down
Yeah.
from the WWE. I kind of got a three-part question, and we can take them one at a time, Nate. First, what's your I saw what you wrote on Twitter, but what's your reaction to his decision to step down?
It'll be a tremendous loss to the industry. The biggest loss of all time. He's the reason. I couldn't put all the letters in there, but there are so many people he's made millionaires out of. I mean, he's taken guys that, with just average ability and earn them a living. And I don't think they understand it. If you know that we don't have health insurance and all that, if you get hurt on a job there, they pay for everything. It's always, everybody looks on it for the downside of our business. He's been the greatest. I mean, he's been my personal friend, my good friend. And I think that they, I know they'll miss him because even at 76, he's a sharp Marty, and the reason that company's been so successful, he's a hands-on guy. He knows where everything is and what's going on everywhere, which probably drives a lot of people crazy, that work for him, because he does not like to designate authority. So I don't know I can't imagine what he's doing right now. He's a billionaire, but he's the kind of guy, I bet he's missing the business right now, because tonight's Raw, I bet he's missing it. And I know I'll miss it with him. I thought when he was on TV, those days with Austin and Marty, which you must have seen, was some of the best TV I've ever seen in my life. And Vince couldn't wrestle a lick, but man, he was entertaining and he knew how to be a heel. So, to me, it was he added credibility to the business with his performance in the ring, and he's just a mastermind. I mean, I asked him one time back in the 90s, what's your competition? He said, Disney. Sometimes. You don't look at the NFL as being a competition to him. And really, if you look at all the stuff with the NFL, the Super Bowl, and not the Super Bowl itself, but you see all the stuff they've had, the glitz, the glamour, the pyro, and everything. Where did it all come from? Vince McMahon. We were doing that way before the NFL was, or the basketball, the All-Star game. I mean, he's just so creative. I mean, just think about it, from Jim Crockett Promotions, Marty, which you knew, to where they are now. I mean, I remember when the first day they had high definition, everybody went, God, he spent $200 million to redo the whole. You can imagine the stuff they have up in Stanford, where they put all this stuff, the post and all that. The studio is unbelievable. It's no different than going to visit NBC. It's huge. So and then another time I asked him, I said, how do you? I asked him, like, I got to know him, so I could ask him questions like, how do you just take the stress of this every day? Because it's a stressful job, and he takes it on himself. He said, I can't take a day off, and I can't afford to get stressed out. I got 280 people depending on me. That's what a man is.
You said it there a bit, but I'd like to just pose the question this way. Without Vince McMahon, what would Ric Flair be?
Ric Flair would have been that washed-up guy that left with my head shaved because of Bischoff and Vince Russo in 2000. Anything to bring me down. If you didn't bring me back in 2001, I don't know where I'd be. I probably wouldn't be talking to you because I wouldn't be relevant enough to talk to. I'll tell you what, Vince, the first time I was on TV, he goes, you know what we call gorilla when you walk backstage after your performance, walk up the ramp, and
Sure.
he'd go, let me tell you something. 80s heels don't draw. Okay. I don't want to hear about that limousine riding, jet flying. That's old shit.
It's the most famous line in the history of the sport.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, Travis has a T-shirt on right now with that saying on the T-shirt. I hope you're making some royalties, Nate.
Probably the 2% they pay.
Yeah, right. If 2%. Who,
The WWE doesn't get that royalty check is hard to get.
as kids, for me, our favorite matchup was always the Nature Boy and the American Dream.
Yeah.
Always.
Oh,
Like
man.
it was you and Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, it was the best.
Where does he rank? Who is your most treasured opponent throughout all the years?
Oh, there were three, but I mean Dusty's probably number one. Two would be Steamboat. Three would be Sting.
Yeah, man.
The other guys I wrestled. Well, I wrestled Dusty for 20 years.
I know.
And 20 years of being sold out. I don't remember us ever going to a venue that wasn't sold out. Which is saying a lot. Even at $5 ringside tickets back then, it was sold out. So, and to see his son doing so well now, Cody has really come a long way. And I keep up with Michelle, so greatest line I ever heard in my life was at Dusty's funeral. Cody was talking on behalf of the family, and as did Dustin. And Cody said, he asked his mom one day, he said, why don't you have any other wrestlers' pictures around the house? She said to Cody, when you're married to Elvis Presley, who else's picture would you have? That's the greatest line of all time. That's the way Dusty talked. I used to go in the ring with him in Greensboro, sold out. He looked at me just like the opening of Caesar's Palace kid.
Good old days, man.
Yeah, he was so witty. Yep, great.
He sure was. What a brilliant performer.
Oh God, I know. I mean, he'd be the king dog now if he came around.
Yep.
The king dog. I mean, he's
So relatable. He was just so relatable.
I know.
To so many millions
and
of
there's,
fans.
and there's an aspect of society would still relate to that. I mean, he was a common man. He and I spent $40 on mink coats in August in Las Vegas with our wives.
What did it take? 25 minutes for that mink coat to fall apart for $40 in Vegas?
He walked in and bought a coyote coat. I walked in and bought a mink coat. His wife walked in and bought a mink coat, and of course mine went and got a blue fox. 90 degrees in Vegas. What the hell? We competed, man. He bought a car, I bought a faster one. He bought a bigger car, I bought another one.
I love it, man.
Biggest house on the biggest side of town.
When you look back on the sport before you guys elevated it and did bring that glitz and glamour to it, wrestling in high school, I mean, what would you go back and tell that young wrestler before you came on the scene and before the sport became what it was? Have you ever thought about your message to that younger version of yourself of where your career was headed?
Well, I never dreamt I'd be where I am today when I was wrestling in high school. I just knew that, I don't know, it's hard to believe. I was just wild. That's why I ended up in boarding school. It was boarding school or reform school. And I don't mean like anything bad, but driving my parents' car when I was underage. No, I'm not talking about armed robbery or anything stupid like that, but I couldn't live I was having a hard time living within the limits of my age. If my mom and dad's car were there and they're out of town, I felt I owed it to the car to be driven.
Break it up.
Hell, why would I ride my bike when I can drive my mom's car?
Right. Exactly.
It's a lot faster.
Yeah.
So we'll get you out of here on this, brother. We appreciate you.
No,
giving
I'm
us so
fine
much
having a
time.
ball with you guys, please.
So the official tally says 16 titles.
Yeah,
How many did you really win?
21.
Yeah. That's the way I feel about it, too. What is your greatest achievement from your perspective on that Hall of Fame, world-class, greatest of all time resume?
Well, I don't know if I am the greatest of all time. I think I worked hard enough to be in that, and brought enough to it to be in the consideration. But with guys like Shawn Michaels and Randy Orton, especially Shawn just stands out. I mean, I'd have a hard time saying the greatest good guy ever was Steamboat, the greatest. Make no doubt about it. And if in his day he'd had to do the moonsaults and all that, obviously he could have done it. And he was a tough kid, obviously. So we didn't do that back then. But there's no way you couldn't. Steamboat couldn't have done it, right? So, but all around, Shawn Michaels, man, I'm telling you, he's a little bit of a prick, so he could be a good heel. You know what I mean? Not anymore. He's really calmed down. But I mean, he could be a good heel, but just a phenomenal worker. You look at that match, his final match with the Undertaker. My God, in Atlanta, unbelievable. Could sell. I mean, he was a total package.
So you're talking about final matches. Yours is coming.
I know.
Matter of days.
This is the last one. I just got somebody has offered me a bunch to do one a month later. I said, guys, I want to, but I would be screwing up my legacy, and I got a lot of heat for going back to work when I needed to go back to work because I was paying 3 women alimony, which is a whole other episode.
It's obvious to me.
Whenever you want to talk about paying ex-wives money, just call me up.
Yeah, I appreciate the offer, brother. I'm good on that front.
We don't really cover that much on this show.
James McElroy and Deal. Remember Bill Deal?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Who doesn't?
Anybody that lives in Charlotte, North Carolina, knows that name.
Yeah, I paid him a lot of money, man.
It's obvious that you're in. I mean, you and I have had a million conversations over the past few years, but it's obvious to me that you're in a nostalgic headspace as you face this final match. What do you think your emotions are going to be when you get in the ring?
Believe it or not, it's keeping me awake at night now. I'm nervous because they don't understand. Everybody goes, well, all you got to do is get in the ring and strut and go woo and chop a couple of guys. It got to be more than that. I won't be able to do it at the speed I did, but I got to be able to do all the stuff that I did. And I can. I practice it. So now it's just getting myself here to walk out there, and my whole family will be there again. I mean, it'll be a night to be remembered. Yeah, it's just here right now. So.
I can't wait to see it, man. I can't wait to
Me
watch
too,
it.
guys.
I can't wait to celebrate it.
It's going to be awesome.
And I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your
thank
time.
you guys, man. I'm so honored.